I just had a moment where I took a step back from the situation and I realized like when you were a teenager and your dad was like in a room doing something that you truly could not comprehend what was happening.
I can't think of a single time in my entire life that's like, what's dad doing in the other room?
I'm out of my background, yeah. Talking about the background being the wrong size. And it just goes. And it just goes. This is what we're doing right now. I hate when I do, sometimes when you're just improvising, you do the wrong snare sound, and it's 40-year-old guys making sounds that we should be ashamed of.
Mm.
But we're not ashamed, we're proud. We just made a doo-wop song. Back off, Vulture. Uh, Not you, James. I mean, I was talking to the hypothetical. You know who I was talking to was actually my own image of an audience that I'm talking to, and for some reason that was mad at me.
And
You know?
vultures, like
Yeah,
an
like what?
actual like.
And then I snapped at it, and then I had to explain to you that you're not the energy in my head that I was responding to because you're the only person here. See, having insight doesn't make you not crazy. It makes you more crazy. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah. Okay. Welcome to Unthink Me here. Namaste to
Welcome
you,
back. Welcome
buddies,
back. Good to
guys,
see everybody.
pals. Let's all say hi to Cody Arbuckle and let's give him a yeah. Yeah. Wait. Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, he's got to be in front of my face. Okay. And that's for you guys at home. Let's do that every time. Just go, yeah, and just be, mean it. You know how hard is it to mean it? And that's what dads do in their weird room off, in their little special room with their headsets on. They
Practicing meaning it.
they shout, yeah, and they mean it. And you're like, why in the fuck is my dad doing that? It's because he has to be around you all the time, and he has to act in a specific way that won't trigger or offend you, that will be like proper and structural for you. And this things get pent up. And so he wants to just do like what you do and just do whatever the hell you want all the time and just be funny and have a good time. And that's what he's doing. That you got to do it in quick bursts. It's got to be sporadic bursts because you aren't allowed to do it all the time. That's what he's doing, darling. I want to celebrate a little bit getting into today's show. I've been working on the website a lot, and that means that I'm making my own our own Unthink Me Zone integral world, our own tutorial, our own visuals, our own way of describing it. In integral, it's almost always the Wilbur presentation, the Ken Wilber presentation, unless it is unaware of Wilbur, then you're in a whole different thing. So this is the same as the Aqua map. I call it Aqualalatus because I'm cuter than they are. And Homath has his levels thing, which is pretty darn similar, a little bit different. And so we've made our own system, and we will be sharing that with you soon. Right now, what it means for you is that I get this background with the altitudes on it. Another cool thing is the names of the our own names for all the altitudes. We kind of interchangeably use the spiral dynamics names, the Ken
Hmm.
Wilber names, the Gebser names, the Piaget names. I mean, we throw these around like Macy's Day balloons, but it's like, okay, what do you want to name your altitudes for the purposes that you use them for? You could do
Hey,
anything you want. I want it to say who I am and what I do. What is my nature and what do I get up to? Think, feel, do.
mm,
So I named them thus. And because I've been working on the website, I have made a deliberate move to not engage with the audience.
mm,
So I see us today as
mm,
being this is what I'm calling, we do about a season a year. We're kind of starting into the third year of this channel here.
mm.
And so we're calling it a season. It doesn't make any difference. But to us, it's a little bit of a change in the operating system. And clearly, the last season was all about engaging with the audience. And
Indeed.
that was a fantastic, wonderful experiment. I absolutely got so much out of it. And I feel like the audience or, whatever, this community has gotten a lot out of it. And I think it's a beautiful thing. Also, the new season is going to be a lot about time management and making quantity and quality of videos that communicate integral theory and entertain people. That is what I'm focusing on in terms of time management more, which means probably less audience engagement. And also sharing a lot of personal things, sharing a lot of experimental, just kind of like we tried a lot of stuff. And I think that, this helps us to narrow down. It's like the audience, the people who get to these videos and click on them, they really want the tutorial still. They're still just like, okay, what are altitudes? What is that? Is this spiral dynamic? So
Nothing wrong with that.
we'd be best suited if we were businessmen to just be doing integral tutorials over and over. That's not really what we're doing. We're kind of assuming a familiarity with this as we teach it, and we're trying to make it like everyday mainstream talky kind of stuff, which actually looks more weird and puts us in other places. But that's where we want to be, I think. And there certainly will be more integral theory tutorials. I'm not saying we're abandoning that. I'm just saying I think what we're doing is pretty unique and original and cool and fun. As a sort of send off to this era, I do want to do one more answering everybody's comments videos. We're going to make it as far into this as possible.
We can't answer all of them.
No, well,
just no way.
And not with this rate I'm going so far.
Not with as much life as I have left.
I'm so hungry. I just need to eat something before I go crazy.
Okay. Are you actually hungry? Do we need to pause?
No.
Okay.
Yesterday, I noticed I was kind of like having like a feeling of anxiety and troubling thoughts. I was driving and it was a beautiful sunny day, and I thought to myself, like, okay, well, I'm going to be coding until hard stop at 11. And so I should get a grocery. Like, I should have something to eat tonight. I went in a little cute town. I've never been in the town in my life. I've passed through it probably 7,000 times.
So what'd you get?
Spaghetti wise, or at the grocery store?
Spaghetti wise, or
I got some bread and cheese and bananas and apples and lettuce. Oh, I got Caesar dressing. I didn't really know what that was. I put it on bread with pepper jack cheese and lettuce, and that was what I did last night. That was my jam.
Okay. Anchovy sauce.
Ooh. Wait, you're saying that's in Caesar?
Yeah, that's what Caesar dressing is.
Oh, it's got
garlic, anchovies.
Edamame? Is that what you were? Umami?
Yeah, you have sweet, sour, salt.
Yeah.
Savory is umami.
Is that what it is in Caesar?
This goes back to the ancient Romans. If you've got a second. Mm-hmm. They used to take anchovies and lay them in the bottom of a barrel, then cover it with salt, then lay that another anchovy salt all the way up. Refine it down even farther. You have monosodium glutamate. You have MSG.
Mm-hmm. Which sounds bad, but is good.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And so, yeah, it was actually more expensive than gold. It was worth more than its weight in gold. It was called Gorum, not the guy from Mortal Kombat. Gorum, Garum, Garim, however. What's often overlooked is liquefying fish and putting that in sauces in America, especially. But Caesar dressing made by a guy named Caesar, not the Romans.
Oh, boring.
Yeah. Has anchovies in it.
And I got hot sauce too.
You got bread, lettuce, cheese, Caesar dressing, hot sauce, bananas, and apples.
Yeah. Wow.
The fuck are you gonna put the hot sauce on?
Well, because I have eggs and I also make rice and vegetables.
I see.
In general, rice and vegetables is dinner. That's my general dinner. Yeah. And then add plus or minus other things.
Hot sauce.
Throughout this journey, over the whole week, I've had my Switch up, so I've been in good place land, and I think talking about it really helped, both to pay more attention to it and to have it up. But yesterday, I noticed not only that it was down, but that I hadn't been paying attention to it. I remembered that I have this Switch concept, and I'm paying attention to whether my Switch is down or up. And I go, oh shit, okay, so okay, so the Switch, where is it? It's down. Uh-oh. And then it's like, the moment I realized that, it just went back up, because I was like, oh yeah, so the deal is...
It doesn't have to be down.
Whatever happens, it matters, but it doesn't matter whether I am mad about it or upset about it or nervous about it or anything. And so here I am in this infinite world on a beautiful day with the sun shining on me, looking forward to a beautiful day ahead and a beautiful podcast and doing yoga in this little town. And the Switch goes right back up. And I think just paying attention to it is like a really big part of what... Because if you notice that dynamic, like, okay, I'm down, like, how did I get back? And you're paying attention, how did I get back up? It's like you can almost like shortcut to it's like, okay, things that get me up. Number one, making this decision, this fundamental decision. I'm not bent out of shape about the way things are going. There's nothing wrong. I'm not failing at this thing, the whole thing. I can fail at all sorts of little things. That's fine. That's the game. But the big thing, there's no failure here. You're here. That's it. And
That's
isn't
it.
it nice? Isn't it nice? Isn't it nice? Yeah, that was just a little follow up to that.
It's definitely like a fake it till you make it. The more you
Well,
pay attention to you being down and actively trying to not be, at that very first reaction is going to be like, well, it's pretty easy being down, and so I'll just be down. But thinking about better things and sort of manually flipping that switch, then you're just buzzing again. You don't have to think about it until it goes back down.
types come a lot into this and like the kind of person you are. Yeah, the way that you hack yourself up or what causes your switch. And I have a feeling we're going to get into that a good amount.
Let's have at it.
So, yeah, what are we
Without
halfway through?
further ado, is this a mix of comments from different videos, or is this video specific?
Yeah, it's all mixed up and it's
Okay.
going from newest to oldest. I can filter, but I can only filter by parameters like whether I've responded to the comment. I just
You don't
logged in
need
and
to
this is what they
explain
have
yourself.
available. Oh, I no, I don't. It's fine.
You know what?
Nobody
I know.
cares. Corel 171 says, I mean, yeah, meditation is really good, you, if you do it right. I don't understand why you need pseudoscientific charts of brainwaves in the background.
Can I put a ground rule into answering comments?
Okay.
Okay, I'm not going to try and
Maybe. I
change.
don't know. I
I'm
don't
not
know.
going to try and change their minds.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to get argumentative with comments.
I'm not.
So-
No. This is for education purposes.
Okay, fire away.
Because this is the thing is people will like take a little glance at integral and say, oh, it's pseudoscience. And so it's like, okay, let's break that down. Some of it is pseudoscience. Myers-Briggs is pseudoscience. It's classified as pseudoscience, yes. And it's very useful. What he's talking about, brain waves, that is scientific. That is measured with scientific instruments and these ranges of brain waves, beta, alpha, theta, delta, etc. There's more, are classified conceptually based off of readings of scientific brainwave frequencies measured. Now, like, is that, does that mean anything? Okay, now we're not talking about science, but so that part is science. This thing on the left is conceptual. It's about how you internally perceive the experience of being a human. So how do you science that? What would be the meaning of science in terms of how a human being experiences reality? Okay.
Can I take a
Ask
quick
people
stab?
how they perceive reality? Yeah.
The things put up on the screen here are simply so we're talking a common language. When
Yeah,
I say
and-
if these things aren't on the screen and we say amber, what the hell does that mean? Those things
Amber.
aren't on the screen at any point, whether they're pop-ups or the background or whatever. This is just giving us a common language to talk about archetypes, stages, quadrants, so that we're speaking the same language. It has science or not science be damned, but in order to have a conversation about this stuff, we have to speak the same language. That's all.
And Kirill 171, I'm not mad at you. I don't, you're wrong or any, it's not like that. It's that you have a point that a lot of people make because you're logical and reasonable. And you look at this and say, it looks like all these like pseudoscience charts I've seen. And you're not, this looks like an astrology chart or alchemy or something. And that's acceptable to see it that way. I am responding to everyone who sees it that way. And I'm saying this is not intending to be a scientific chart. It is intending to be a conceptual chart. And the reason it's on the screen is because I'm going to say these words and I want you to understand what those words mean and how they fit conceptually. This is a model of the terminology that we use in the show to describe reality. So pragmatically, it's not just a bunch of bullshit to make me like look smart or make this look cool or something.
Right.
This is what we're talking about. Quadrants, states, lines, levels, types. This is what we're talking about. That's what integral theory is. And we explain what all these things are as we go.
I do appreciate the comment because if
I'm
I
not-
were out of
I know
if
I'm
I
being
were
a
out
dick.
of nowhere and looked at this, I'd be like, oh great, he's gonna bang a gong and rub crystals together. It's
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
so you can see progression or succession or structure of things and have a common language. That's the only reason. We
Hmm.
have 1 through 12 on whatever side of the screen it's on for you.
Yeah.
And it says a color or a shade or whatever. And then below that is something Adam completely made up to continue to correlate our language with.
Made up. We made it up.
It's
Because it
completely,
would be
there's no,
really
yeah.
busy. It would be even more busy pseudoscience if I put all the official actual like stages of lines. That would be the integral psychograph. Another one of my goofy charts that I put up.
Yeah, right.
Which exists. But yeah, we wanted something simpler that makes sense. We're just saying these are stages of what you think, feel, and do. And we could explain thinking in terms of 87 lines that are studied by psychologists, scientists of the mind, if such a thing can be said to exist.
Hmm.
And scientists study what is real. The mind is real. So that's their job, apparently. They give us these lines of development and they identify stages, and those stages line up with altitudes. And
Boom.
so it's like, yeah, we made up a conceptual language to describe reality,
Hmm.
and you know exactly what we're talking about. If you're into this topic and you know these things, you'll know what think, feel, and do mean, right?
Hmm.
If you're doing the human thing, yeah.
If you're into doing the human thing.
I really like that you're poking at me, and I'm not mad that you're poking at me. I want to be clear that I don't like pseudoscience crap that tells you you're at a different vibration or something. I don't
Hmm.
like that either. And I'm trying to convince you that this is a different thing from that
I'm not
that
going to
could
try to
be
change his
called
mind.
that. Yeah, it could be called that, but for everyone who's kind of seeing it that way, I encourage you to take a deeper look because there's a lot of things that really, really are like that that look like this on a superficial level.
Hmm.
We were talking about the nature of spine tingles. I was skeptical about them. We get feedback from Evan Steele. Definitely back of the neck, shivers down the spine, back of the neck, or sometimes shivers.
Mm.
Shiver. I don't know about shivers.
I would have to
Goosebumps in the
ask, are
arms.
you
I
talking
can't
about like
agree.
an actual like muscle twitching shiver, or that's the way to describe the
I mean,
feeling?
I'm talking. I'm cold. I'm shivering. Like I'm shake.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not. I'm not feeling that. See, because this is all metaphorical, and
Hmm.
spine tingling is metaphorical. Like basically a tingling of the spine. Like what even is tingling of anything? Random noise sensations. Shadow switch. Getting into the shadow switch. Looks like we got a couple here. At Brendan. Also, I feel like everyone has a different switch and everyone has different reasons for it to switch. After
Hmm.
awakening and realizing all your thoughts are just stories, you can really start to dig up the emotions without being tugged around by your mind's stories of the emotion, which is very important as it allows you to really see the emotion and fully feel it, which unwires the emotion and reactions. Talking about, yeah, some of those higher stages and some somatic approaches. And so we do agree with this. I was describing the switch as a very Adam type thing and possibly James type thing, and possibly a lot of you in the community maybe as
It's
a
an
common
analogy.
type.
This may come as a shock to everyone. There's no physical switch. Good observation that, yeah,
Yeah.
that switch is different for everyone. Everyone. And what you consider up or down or on
Yeah.
or off or,
Yeah.
volume up, volume down. Witness thing, friggin' nailed it. You're just a witness. You're not affected by what you're thinking about in a positive or negative way. There's no positive outcome. There's no negative outcome. You're just looking at it, and it's a thing that exists. Yeah, absolutely.
It's yeah, it's again, it's like how would you science something like this? It's just I've identified this state of my being as positive and this state as negative, and I've noticed that there are ways to trigger it between those two. And
Hmm.
any person can do this, but they're going to be talking about very different things, depending on if they're a personality, ego, psyche, or consciousness for one thing, and depending on what type they are. And yeah,
Hmm. Oh yeah,
and this is
infinite switches.
a person who kind of is talking about the switch pertaining to, you know, the awake or the causal, you know, or
Hmm.
awakened state on or off, gross realm. So up here in states, we're talking about different actual modes of perceiving with very much very switch like as well. Yeah. Another comment from same. Love the yellow approach to stages and everything. Yellow is teal in this as well, so we use both. I'm wondering if you guys have talked about enlightenment and awakening in context of these stages. Because to me, it seems that turquoise or tier three is the path of non-duality and enlightenment. Curious if you guys have a different take. Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. This is yellow. This is yellow or teal second tier presentation and style, hopefully. And we do talk about enlightenment, but we are not that's not our main gig. We're not gurus. We don't teach this
No.
stuff. We're interested in it. We read about it. We watch media about it. We do state practicey things in the model. It was originally just this notion of states and state structures that you can learn through some sort of spiritual, quote unquote, spiritual practice or
Hmm.
transcendental practice. And Wilbur expanded the spiral dynamics from teal, or actually from turquoise, which spiral dynamics does acknowledge, but very similar to teal in a lot of ways. These four stages that echo the states that you can attain at any altitude.
Hmm.
So that's what these top ones are. And so the enlightenment process of a particular tradition, whether we're talking about Kabbalah or Gnosticism or Buddhism, or that would be, these are the universal stages that apply to those: indigo, violet, ultraviolet, and clear light.
In spiral dynamics, I forget entirely if I ever
Yeah,
knew. It's yellow than coral.
indigo is often called coral,
Hmm.
and turquoise is sometimes omitted. Also in Wilbur, turquoise is sometimes a generalization for teal and turquoise.
Hmm.
So again, it's just a spectrum that we're cutting up any way we like. Unthink Me is really nailing it down to this 12 thing because that's easy. Just keep it on this.
Yeah.
And yes, those
Yeah.
are those. I do a few things where I talk about my own kind of filtration of states that I've had and reading that I've done on those and other people talking about them and kind of saying, how can I talk about a state of consciousness that conveys anything? It's the impossible, right? So that's what we're working on. We're trying to make it so people can talk about these states without taking all the time and effort and single-minded dedication that it would take to have the authority to actually be talking about them authentically from them. So it is not problematic that we aren't gurus or anything. It is more, we are exactly the type of people who ought to be conceptualizing this stuff more and trying to talk about it and trying to make it legitimize it in the public dialogue that
Making
something
my
developmental
like
is occurring.
only goal is to make it relatable to
Hmm.
real life.
Yeah.
Conceptually reading it, it all sounds impossible and strange and out of this world. But when you society versus the individual, up until tealish, we can go back in time and say this is where like everyone was
Yeah.
as a general majority. And that's really easy. As you get higher, it becomes more difficult. But bringing it into like layman terms and then bringing it into post Y2K real life, I think is a sort of a unique take on that's what we're doing is just trying to make it something that can be talked about in real life in an office or
Yeah.
whatever your job is. It's really easy to think, well, red was like Romans, Greeks, armies, the 300. What does that mean in the office today
Hmm.
or tomorrow when I go to work? What does that mean? So just
Yeah,
trying to make it
exactly.
relatable and communicatable
And
in
things
modern
that
terms.
and it, apply it to the things that you do. Yeah, that
Right.
exactly. What does that mean to me in my actual life, right? Yeah, absolutely. And so the Teal mission, Teal is the integral developer, and so we're all about communication. We're all about bringing clarity to this stuff and being able to talk about it and conceptualize it. That's what we do. That's our presentation. When you get into the state stuff, you can debate whether there's even any point to having a map like this. But that's
Mhm.
higher level. We're doing this middle one here where you have a map and you understand that these exist because that's needed down here at the lower levels. But yeah, we're not saying that this enlightens you to study this. This is an intellectual, philosophical, this is conceptualizing reality and to be used in your everyday life,
Mhm.
hopefully. That's yeah. We get Wormwood Cocktail. Why are you wearing a woman's shirt? Thank you. I am actually a man, so it's my shirt. It's it's a man's shirt. But yeah, it was tailored and designed for a woman, and that was so that they generally make the sorts of things I wear to make pretty or attractive or kind of accents their colors or features. And that is also why I am wearing the shirt, even though I am not a woman. How did I end up in the schizo part of YouTube? I mean, that's on you, buddy.
I don't know. I don't believe anything.
Wait, so, okay. What is this? Curious. They're asking what is 12 stages of consciousness. Unfortunately, that popular video with all the stages in it doesn't
Mhm.
explain what it is, and that's the one that
Oh,
everyone watches. And
okay.
when you ask what it is, that's what the rest of our channel is that nobody watches. We explain what it is.
Right.
Great job on Think Me. Yeah.
Exactly.
But that's why we're doing what we're doing. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, it's about time to hit that. This has been part one of the answering your comments final chapter, perhaps. Da, 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 da. Hit me with your best shot. Da, da, da.
Oh,
Why
different
don't
song.
you hit me with your best shot? Da, da, da. Fire away. Oh, because with putting the guitar part in, I couldn't get that line in on time.